Hi again. I'm really sorry for all the interruptions, but I'm trying to get Svetlana to join. So, hi again, third time. And hi, Svetlana. Please try to join in this session. I hope you're able to join. Yeah. Hi, VJ. So we are having a bit of a internet connection. Hi, finally. Hi. How are you?
Oof, exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes,
you know,
10 minutes of trying. I was just seeing the time and all. And it's like, oh my God, it's 10 minutes and we are already exhausted trying to
I know better late than never.
Yes, yes. So how have you been? How has been the week? I think last week we did a session and we connected and
Yes, we did. Well, it's been a hectic week. We joined back work, so there were a lot of changes. For example, we had to go to work wearing masks and gloves.
right, right,
Our seats were kind of placed with the proper social distancing
right, right,
norms,
right, right, right.
and we our temperature was taken when we went inside. Then we had to, kind of sanitize our hands every 10 minutes. So a lot of restrictions in place. So the work hours actually got longer, but
Yeah,
I'm happy to go back.
I know.
Hello, visitors.
So yeah, so for
So,
all the people who are joining in, so hi again from Sushmita and Svetlana.
Svetlana.
Yeah, yeah. So we didn't give up. So yeah. So today,
So,
as I was sort of the first the time I started off. So today we are sort of kind of trying to have a session, an interesting session on solo travel. Though we kept it as like
right.
women, but it's like basically encompasses both for men and women solo travel, especially as Indians and as non-white travelers. We are Indians and then we
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
fall in
yeah.
the non-white
Mm.
South Asian category, and a lot of us are more and more people are now traveling solo themselves. So the kind of what have breaking stereotypes. I mean, of solo travel, and also there are some myths. When people want to, there are a lot of people who want to travel solo, but they're afraid. Because there are a lot of
Yes,
things.
quite
Yeah,
understandable.
so there are a lot of things in their mind. So trying to bust some stereotypes, hopefully. So yeah, so Atlanta, you start off because
So, I would just like to say that, first of all, solo travel sounds very glamorous, but we are not the regular solo travelers. We are not the white skin solo travelers. We do not come, and let's face it, we do not come from the developed or the first world nation. So for us as Indians, solo traveling started very recently, and also for the world to understand and recognize us as solo travelers took some time. Because we are a new breed of and Latinas. Let's put it like this, okay? I have met a lot of young solo travelers from Iran, from Philippines, also a lot of Russians and Koreans, a lot of South American solo travelers. But as I said, we are a new breed.
right, right,
And again, derai to durustai, whatever, at least better late than never. We have now the freedom, and we have the freedom of society. We restricted freedom, but still freedom. We have the financial freedom to do it. But for the rest of the world to adapt to this concept is taking time.
right.
And it's unfortunate, but it is also true that sometimes we, as non white solo travelers, I know it is taking a racist twist, but it is a reality, especially a lot of non white people, and maybe some also white people, I'm not sure, I'm not in their shoes, will understand that for them, our discrimination starts with sometimes with our own families, you know. Yes, exactly, Dita Ditya from Traveling Slacker. I absolutely understand. Our discrimination starts from our families who think we are mad.
Right.
We are mad.
And also,
We are
yeah,
restless.
and also
You know,
so sorry to cut you in, but also one is mad and reckless, and the second thing I feel and I've felt and I've sort of experienced not only within family but within acquaintances and friends is like
Absolutely.
international travel is money. It takes a lot of money. So the concept of
Mm.
spending your money is considered something weird. Why are you throwing away the money? That can be invested. So travel as an investment, as an emotional investment, or whatever type of personal investment that we do in ourselves is still not sort of taken that way in our society to start off with, even with our families.
Yes, yes, true. And it's also true that I am asked questions still now at this age that where do you get this money from to travel? And even as embarrassing as it may sound, I also get to ask, I'm asked this question even at the immigration counter.
Right, right, right.
Though I have, a passport which has many stamps, I have, usually they should not be asking this question because if I have been cleared to go, I have been cleared to go.
Right, right.
But even as this, this discrimination is still there, and it starts, as I said, from our families, our acquaintances, and then it goes step by step,
Right, right.
escalates. Then there are a lot of times in the immigration center, at the immigration offices will ask you, what is your purpose?
Right,
But not in a very nice way,
right,
and not
right.
that, and you get the feeling that you're treated with a slight
Disdain,
condensation,
I would say.
condescending. Yeah. And then, they kind of ask you these questions. Where will you stay? How do you get this money? What is your job? Can you write this down? I mean, come on. You need to understand. And, there's something called a profiling
Right, right,
for people
right,
that is this person going to go and run away or is this person going to come back? What is the value?
right, right,
It's time that people from non-white countries or developed
right,
nations who are traveling because they enjoy traveling and education be treated like this. It is time that it stops.
right, right,
Even in countries like Thailand,
right, right,
sometimes it has happened that I have been treated even though I was transiting,
right, 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 right,
and I don't have any reason for that.
right, right,
Sometimes I've seen people, for example, when I want people to be going on solo travel or international travel, I've seen them to be mistreated, even as I said in Bangkok airport, where they are really treated very badly. Take out what you have in your bag, show us your money, show us your hotel. Come on, they are your guests at the end of the day.
right, right.
There is a certain etiquette that comes. So, breaking myths of solo traveling, I think the first thing we need to aim at is breaking myths within our family,
Right,
our acquaintances,
right.
our own circle, of immigration officers. So there has to be a kind of a step by step, I don't know, a circular
Yeah, I think it's
change.
it's it's like at multiple levels, and it has to happen simultaneously, and it is happening simultaneously, but not at the rate it should happen. Like as you said about
Exactly,
Thailand,
exactly.
because you talked about your experience in Thailand specifically. I just remembered this because it's very recent. It's my last travel in Russia, and because I took two domestic flights within Russia. So every time, like I'll get down from the flight, there would be like, especially in Murmansk region, you have been there, so you know how the safety and security guys
Yeah,
there are. So they, of course, we look different, and in a crowd of like so many Russians, we stand out, and we will like three or four ladies, and they'll just take us aside and they will ask us questions, show us your visa,
exactly.
which flight, which hotel you're taking, and
Mhm.
we will of course show it. If we are at immigration or with the security people, we have to show it. I mean, the surprising thing was, like, they to click my photo of my visa, they clicked photo of my aeroplane, and I'm like, I'm in Murmansk region. Come on, where will I run away? Where on earth I
Exactly.
will run away from Murmansk region? I mean, I could have understood, I was in Europe, I will try to, disappear somewhere, but in Murmansk. But that's the kind of, mentality a lot of countries, especially the immigration people have. And of course, as we discussed, starts from family, goes on to a higher level, but it needs to be broken at multiple levels.
Yes, absolutely. And it also starts with the visa. Yes, I understand that we need to be careful about whom we let in, but at the end of it, be certain person profiling. You cannot just standardize and put everybody in one box. You need to
Right,
have
right,
certain
right, right.
profiling matter, and you need to know that at the end of the day, this person is a customer. This person is coming to your country
Right.
for tourism purpose. He or she is a customer, and yes, you need to have customer service given out to them. I mean, they are not criminals
Right,
who are coming
right,
who made a mistake.
right.
So if I do not go to Murmansk, I have a choice to go to Finland, because at the end of the day, it's my money.
Right, right, right.
It's high time that the people or the world need to wrap their head around the fact that this person who is a non-white,
He's a customer
or
at the,
from
he's
a
a
lesser,
customer.
not first world nations,
Yeah.
is traveling on tourism
Right,
purpose because they have the money and they have a choice to go away.
right, right, right.
And every day, I'm happy that every day, every single year, we are a growing tribe. And this is something that I feel very, very happy to be proud of.
And also, you know, in that context, somehow, somewhere, I feel this pandemic that has happened is good, because the pause it has given to the
Yeah.
tourism industry, you know, especially people who are like us, who are paying public, you know. So the
Mm-hmm.
supply will now be less than demand. I mean, I'm not talking about like travel blogging or travel influencers, but people who are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So this pause, I think, will make many of the countries rethink their
Exactly.
attitudes and their sort of protocols regarding
Exactly.
non-white tourists, because as I see it, like to the countries that I have been recently, Switzerland or Russia or even Jordan, the number of non-white travelers are increasing. You have Chinese, you have Koreans, you have
Exactly. Yeah.
Indians, so Thais. So I mean, in Murmansk, I remember in my hotel, I mean, when I came down to a buffet, there were Thai group, there was the Chinese group, and it was us. So it was like 80% of the tourists were like from Asia or non-white. So somewhere now they have to rethink and re-strategize and change their attitudes towards non-white travels. What do you think?
And also sometimes it's like, as I said, this problem continues beyond the immigration. For example, we cross immigration and we are going somewhere, okay? You can feel it by the looks that you get, by the questions that are posed. Okay, just because I'm from India doesn't mean, I know everything about Bollywood. And I have met this so many times. Oh, what is this? Why are so many people poor? And, they're so poor and you're traveling. Come on, at one point, this has to stop. Recently, I was talking to a Swiss lady, and she kept on, kind of poking the point. Oh, there's so much of poverty and so much of poverty. I don't want to go. I don't know how you can travel. I mean, okay, yes, there is a certain amount of poverty. There is a certain amount of problem. But that there is a certain amount of problem every single place. I would like people to stop stereotyping, stop putting people in the box, depending on where they come from, what is the color of their skin. I mean, this has to stop. I have been asked questions, and very, very rude questions. I'm not sure till today if they actually understood that the question is rude. But I have been asked questions in places, in many countries, that did your parents allow you to travel?
Oh no!
And
I
I'm
have
not
this. I
sure.
have this. Does your husband allow you? आपको husband allow कर देते हैं travel?
Does your husband know?
Allow? I said, my marriage is not a prison and my husband is not a jailer. So anyway, that was like humor part. How
Exactly.
we use humor to sort of offset the things. But I get it, and also, this Bollywood thing. The Bollywood is a boon and a bane for us both, because of course it
Yeah.
gets us visible in other parts of our dramas. Like when I went to Jordan, I mean they are like they are obsessed with our like
Crazy.
dramas.
Yeah.
Their dramas. But because that's the version of India that they see, so they have
Oh, yeah.
they have this image of Indian girls or Indian women in a certain way. And as I completely sort of get you when they say that, and they come across us and they see there is a 360-degree shift between what they see on screen and what they come across.
Exactly.
And of course, poverty. I mean, because that's a very sellable thing, and all our films, especially Slumdog Millionaire and all those things, they do sort of.
Oh, yeah.
They don't glorify it, but that's the context of the movies, and that's what it's seen.
And it is very, yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And it is very, very difficult for people to understand that, okay, Slumdog Millionaire is there, but I am not going abroad to have a vacation to talk about Slumdog Millionaire. I'm going there because I can, and I enjoy it. And yes, I know problems are there, and maybe I'm, trying to change them my way. Maybe I'm not, but it's none of your business. Do not say India. Do not start talking about poverty. Do not start talking about slumdog millionaire. Do not start talking about, oh my God, there are so many rapes in India. Yes, there are also rapes all over the world, which are not being glorified. I am so upset every time I come to terms like this. And then it's like, recently we went to this Corona thing happened. And we went to a place called Korafra, which is near the Western Desert. So Tariq didn't want to go there. I said, okay, I will go alone. And I was going there, and this police stopped me, the Egyptian police. They said my passport and everything. They said, your husband allow you to go there? What will you do there? I said, I will run away. My husband sent me there to run away. And then you can find me later if you can. They were so shocked. I said, what do you think? I'm going there for what? My husband is going to take me on a leash and carry me around?
Yeah. I think it's at one, at one level it is humorous in a way. I get it, how where they come from, but at one level, we really, when it happens again and again and again, at some level we also get a bit irritated by it. So yeah. So I think the end point is like, as women, we earn our own money, and because we can, and because it's part of what we want to do, we travel. And of course, travel, I think a lot of people don't take that, and they're taken aback when I say travel is an investment that I'm making in myself, as it's as normal as the shares that you buy or the stocks that you buy. For me, it's as normal. So I think in some, I would say, to somebody who wants to travel, and I've told this to several women and men also, that if you really want to travel and you think it's worthwhile your time and your life, do it. It will take a bit of money. Don't wait for, and because I also write, and you also write. I don't know if you've got that question. I do get that question. Can we travel for free like you? I said, no, there's no free travel. Okay. The trips that you see are they are work. Okay. So if any blogger tells you otherwise, it's work.
Yeah.
But don't wait for a free trip or turn into a blogger. Make that investment in yourself, and to travel if you want to. So what do you think?
Yes, and this brings me to a very interesting topic, that how do you save money to travel? Okay, we understand that we are not from the first world nations where we get a lot of money. For example, social money, or for example, governmental money, governmental support to do a lot of things. We do not get support to take a gap year. So we work very hard. We kind of raise ourselves to the position that we can afford to do it.
Right.
And it is not just women. It is like there are really, really a lot of young men and women who are doing that, And I'm very glad, because they are doing it with their own money. They are, they are educated, rising, middle class, who are doing this with their own money.
Hi, Deepak. Hi, Deepak. Deepak is my hairstylist. He's been my hairstylist for the last 5-6 years.
Hi.
Very, very sweet person.
So before we travel,
yeah, continue. Sorry.
So before we travel, we need to plan. And I remember when I still go for vacations, by planning and finding out. For example, one of the ways to save money while traveling is to get with the cheap tickets.
Yeah, one
cheap
thing
tickets,
before
and also
you start,
I book ahead.
Sorry, before you start off on it, and we'll discuss all through the planning, I really want to know, because a lot of people have asked me, the first time is what was the first time that we traveled, and how we did that versus now that we have traveled to a number of countries and within India. For you to sort of start on it, because it'll be interesting to know, because we've never talked on that one-on-one also.
My first travel, like per se, was when I was 3 months old. So that really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, as an adult, on our own, solo, yeah.
On my own solo was when I first, outside of India, when I first went to Iran. And I had money. I had a very bad accident that I needed time to recuperate. And I was looking through poems of Shirazi poets.
Right.
I saw the picture of Iran.
Right.
I just went, booked a ticket then and there, and I went.
Right.
Yes, but in retrospect, in retrospect, I would not think it's a very good idea. Because I was not feeling safe a lot of time. I was in the danger of losing money or, running out of money.
Okay.
And if I had planned better, I would have done it better. Oh, there's my little sister, Gauri. She's called Kandapoha. She's talking about what traveling during the off season. I think it's an amazing thing to do. Hi. There's Hacker Newbie.
I
He's
think your
my favorite.
connection is
And
very erratic, Svetlana. It's like you're coming in bits and pieces.
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you
I can
hear me
hear
now?
you. Yeah, I can hear you, but it's coming in bits of pieces. Like your pause, it's pause and then some, pause and some of the.
I hope it works.
Yeah, I can hear.
I hope it
I
works. So,
hear you for sure.
So yes, Iran. So I would think that, I didn't do a very smart thing,
Okay.
I should have planned better. And that brings me to my question by Gauri. She's my little sister.
Right.
She said, what do you think about traveling during the off season? I love traveling during the off season.
Oh, me
First,
too.
it's cheap.
Me too.
I'm a conjuice. I'm a
Yeah,
conjuice
yeah.
monkey too. And I want to save money, I want to save money to
Yeah,
do something
even when
later.
I'm traveling in
And
season,
yeah,
I travel at the end of the in season. Like there are some things you can only experience when you're in season. Like if you go to Jordan, there's only particular time that you can watch. So I try to end of the season, when the tourists are like going and I'll get cheaper. Of course, you save money on it.
exactly. And, I like to think that I've saved some money. So, yeah. So one of the things that I do is travel during off season. For example, I was talking to a friend of mine recently that I love to go to Lucerne and Prague in winter because first it is empty. First, let me put it this way. First, it is cheap. I feel very happy. Second, it is absolutely empty. I'm not in a million people's pictures and a million people are not in my picture. And third, you feel so much comfortable. You feel so much solace when you're traveling because you can really stand in front of a monument and enjoy the
It.
view without being in a crowd.
Right,
You can
exactly.
sit in peace and have at a cafe and enjoy the local life. There's a lot of happiness there. Sorry, Sushmita, I will answer this question.
Yeah.
Maha,
Yeah.
she's asking, is it a myth that as women you have to take extra safety precautions while traveling? What would you say?
Yeah. So I pinned, in fact, I pinned this comment so that we can both answer it. So see, in terms of safety, forget, first of all, you're a man or a woman. Forget the gender, it's gender is irrespective. So the first thing, there are a couple of things, irrespective of also the country you're traveling to, there are a couple of basic things which I call common sense. So as a solo traveler, there's things which are like really common sense that you need to take care of in terms of being safe. The first thing example I'll give you, take care of your passport. I have seen so many people lose their passport while they are in outside the country, and it's most of the time it's a silly overlooking or a mistake. So irrespective.
No, I have to add something here, Sushmita. Sorry, it happened to me in Malaysia that my bag was stolen, and again coming back to one of the points to think of before you solo travel is keep an electronic copy of every single document that you have.
Right. So
your passport, your visa,
exactly. So that's
any other important document.
Yeah. So exactly, that's what I'm saying. These are, as you said, these are the very basic things. Whether you're a man or a woman, these are the very basic stuff that. And for example, as you said, you lost your passport in Malaysia. So irrespective of the fact that if you lose it in Malaysia or Switzerland, the pain that you go through, while you're in a different country, while you lose your passport, whether you lose it or you leave it somewhere or it gets stolen, it is the same. The pain that process of the painful process that you will go through is irrespective of the country, it is irrespective of the gender. So there are a couple of basic things that you really need to take care of while you are a solo traveler. Secondly comes the gender and the country that you're traveling to. I feel, based on my limited experience, and I will give this question after I answer it to Svetlana, because she has traveled to a lot of countries where there were like conflicts and all happening, for example, Yemen. So for me, I would say that, again, keep your common sense in place. Read a lot beforehand about the country. Be a bit cautious, but keep an open mind. a lot of times people will come and sort of want to have a conversation with you because they are curious. They might be touts also, and this sense of balance of being cautious and being open comes from as more and more you travel, but it also comes a bit from your inner balance, and also common sense. I mean, there are if you read about a country beforehand you travel, there are some things which might not be safe to do in that country.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
to
yeah.
give you a context of I'll tell you about, like, specifically about eve teasing, because I have seen the whole I was eve teased in Hong Kong, which is said to be the safest country for tourists to travel. I have not been eve teased anywhere else, not in Russia, not in Jordan, not in Uzbekistan, and not anywhere else. I was eve teased in Hong Kong, in Shimsha Shui, which is the place, the safest place is supposed to said. So to give you a context, safety can be unsafe anywhere, in any place, in any country. We just need to keep our heads in place.
And here I all have an instinct as humans, whether I'm traveling in South America, whether I'm traveling by a local train in India, we all have instinct. And we know that there are good people and bad people in every place. Okay. So, it comes to teasing, that it's also a cultural thing that we need to understand. When I was in Argentina, I was very young and very inexperienced. And I have traveled extensively to Europe, where people would say, hello, good morning. And then with that mindset, I went to Argentina, and I remember very clearly, I was just looking around like this, because Buenos Aires is a very beautiful city. And then I was just said hello to somebody. And that person came and said, how much? I was so shocked. He thought,
I understand what he thought.
He thought I was a hooker.
I understood what he thought. I mean, there's no denying what that means in any country, in any language.
Exactly. And the same thing happened, and I was so shocked. I said, no, and I just ran away from there. But the point is, I did not say hello out of this fear for a very long time, because South America is a place which is a bit macho, okay? Men are macho, they're Latin blood.
Yeah.
How it works. I was very afraid to say hello. I was very afraid somebody would think something, and so I would not say hello to anybody anymore. And then it kind of turned out that they thought I was rude, to the point that I was in Ecuador, and I would not talk, I would not say hello. I was just walking like this. And then one guy, in the hostel actually came to hassle me to say, why are you so stuck up?
Okay.
So, we have to also understand there is a fine line, as you said, you need to understand that, we need to understand that according to instinct, what does he want or what does she want? What is the interest? Is it plain curiosity, or am I making a mistake, a cultural faux pas? What am I doing? And, after, as I said, I was a bit afraid, and I was also very young. So I did not say hello, and I told him, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not stuck up, I'm afraid. He said, why are you afraid? I said, this is what happened to me. Then he said, okay, I understand, I'm sorry. So, but we are not all like that. And then we started talking, and it was a very, very nice trip, because Quito is a city which is not very easy to navigate. And he actually showed me everywhere, took me around. I met his family, his sister, and from a strange experience, it became a good experience, because I learned a lesson, of course, because we have to learn lessons all the time.
Yeah.
And I also learned to trust, trust, you have to trust.
Absolutely.
Without me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That sort of reminds me to this very funny incident again in Murmansk, because this is a recent trip, so all the funny incidents are coming to me from Murmansk. So we were like standing, 3-4 girls were just standing in front of the hotel, outside the hotel, and one of them was having a smoke, and we were like talking and chatting, and suddenly these two middle-aged guys, Russians, with how tall, and not only tall, they are a bit beefy type, generally most of them are by the time they reach middle age. So
खाते पीते खानदान का
ज्यादा ही खाते पीते खानदान का है. So they were coming, and then suddenly one of them came, and he just asked something, so I, because our instincts as women, and especially staying in Delhi and all these Indian cities, they are so geared towards the unsafe, or the fatalistic thing, I immediately think, he wants money. Run, run. I mean, don't look at him.
Exactly.
Don't look at him. Don't look at him. You know what? That poor guy was asking for a cigarette. So then
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
gave him the cigarette, and then he was offering money. It's not that he wanted cigarette for free. It was like there was no cigarette.
Because he didn't
We
have it.
it, and all the cigarette shops were closed. That's why. I said, no. You, and we were like, then we were very chilled out. I said, no, you take the money. And then in Russian, he was saying, thank you, girls. And he was having a smoke just a bit away. So yeah, as you said, we have to be open, but again, keep a sense of our balance. It's a very tightrope walk when you are traveling solo, I guess.
And you also have to understand that you will make mistakes.
Yeah, yes.
I remember, as I said,
yes,
when I went to Iran for the first time, I read the travel advisory. I read that you have to have full sleeves and trousers and keep your head covered.
Right.
What I did not understand is you cannot tuck your shirt inside your jeans.
Oh.
You cannot do that. So what I did was I wore my jeans, which was my favorite jeans. It was a bit tight, I have to accept. And I wore a shirt. I had a headscarf and everything. And, in the middle of Tehran, I was walking around. And then I was actually detained by the moral police.
Wow.
And they were shouting at me.
Okay.
I did not even understand why. And at one point I said, I'm going out because I don't understand.
Right.
You're shouting at me. I have no clue.
Right.
You are wasting time. I'm wasting time.
Right.
So then when I started walking out, they said, okay, sit. And then they tried to translate it. And then I understood. I said, they said, you cannot wear this. I said, what do I do? Go without a trouser. Will that suit your purpose? I have learned my lesson. Now from tomorrow, I will make sure that I don't do it. I mean, what do you want me to do? Take off my jeans and give it to you? So, you will make mistakes. But at the end of the day, there are two things. One is common sense and instinct.
Right.
Your instinct of how to handle the situation then and there.
Right.
And secondly, your sense of humor.
Right, exactly.
You have
use
to
humor,
laugh at yourself.
humor at yourself and humor for the situation. Because, at times I think being humorous or being a bit funny about it certainly helps you also, then also helps you navigate that situation, rather than being sort of worked up on it, and just use your humor. It helps a lot when you
and don't take it personally. Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally, for sure. Exactly.
And what I've noticed is that if you start laughing and people understand that you're laughing at yourself,
right,
they actually soften down and they help you. So
Exactly.
It has worked.
Yes, actually, and also humor and also smile. I think especially in countries where there is a language problem, I've seen a smile works a long way.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen people are willing to help you if you just smile and be softer and just use your humor. Even if you don't know the language, they will try to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So coming back to the point of Sushmita, I'm trying to jot down the pointers that we can give from our joint experience.
Right.
For the ones of new solo travelers or who want to start solo travel is, number one, keep everything handy. Your passport should be handy, and make sure that you have electronic copies of everything.
Electronic copies. And also what I do is I also keep hard copies. Like I take Xerox prints of everything, starting from my airfare, starting air flights, to my hotels, to my visa, and multiple ones. You never know when they come handy. For example, the example I was giving of Murmansk, they were asking questions, and other ladies couldn't sort of answer it, because there was a language problem. I just took out my air flight, which had like the coming date and the going date from Murmansk, and in a minute we were off. So all these things do help.
Exactly. And secondly, know exactly the phone number and the address of your consulate, because there might be a case, there most of the times it doesn't happen, but there might be a case when you will need it in an emergency situation.
Right, exactly.
And if you travel a lot, this might come your way and you do not know. In the smaller situation, your bag gets picked and your passport is inside there. You will want to tell your cab driver to take you to the Indian consulate immediately.
Right.
So that you get immediate help. So please keep these two things mandatory.
Phone number,
you should know these two things.
And also, I would add to that, before you travel to the country, just see on the website. Now we have the websites and all available. See the website of your consulate in that country. What are the quick phone numbers, and also nowadays they have even contact emails and everything. So all those things you keep in handy.
And third, I would say is know and trust your instinct. What is safe, what is not safe. How do you feel about it? We have an instinct that I don't want to go there. I don't know, नहीं यार वो ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. If it is ठीक नहीं लग रहा है, it is ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. Don't do it.
Yeah, and also
in a foreign country, you do not need to be reckless.
Yeah, and also to that, I would say sometimes you do feel, you can do. For example, I had, somebody asked me like, where did you have the best party time? I would say Amman, right? And it's because we took that chance. We trusted one of the persons we made friends there with. So yeah, trust your instincts, be safe, but at times, you do feel it is safe to go. So don't sort of let go of that fun factor also.
No, but don't let go. But also, I would say that
don't be reckless.
Read beforehand.
Yeah, don't be reckless, but don't be too safe.
No, what I wanted to say is read beforehand.
Yes.
There is a website, and it's a very, very interesting website and a very useful website. Present scams in certain countries.
Oh yes.
So it's a website that lists down all the current scams that are happening in the countries all over the world. So you're mentally prepared.
Yes.
You're not a babe lost in the woods.
Yes.
Yes, people are nice, people are good in every country in the world, but you also need to do your homework.
Yes, do your homework. I would say do your homework, because especially I've seen, if you travel to the countries which in which tourism is their main revenue, you will come across a lot of scams, and there are a lot of scams that keep on happening. So when you do your homework, one of the things that you will sort of need to know is the scams, because irrespective of any country, especially the countries whose economy depends on tourism, scams do your homework. Do your homework very well. I mean, I think for every country that I visit, on leisure travel or work come leisure travel, whatever it is, I do like 3 to 4 months of research. That's the time it will take to completely sort of do your research. What is your personal sort of experience and take on this?
So I also do a lot of research. For example, since I go to many offbeat countries, let's say lesser visited countries, and I do not go on guided tours, I actually use a lot of public transportation or public health, local health, to go from point A to point B. But the point is, if I do not do my homework, I do not know how much time it takes from point A to point B, how much money it costs. So I might be trusting somebody and sitting in a car to go from one place to another place, thinking it's a very good price. I might be just taken for a ride.
Yes.
And not a dangerous ride. He might just be going in circles.
Right, exactly.
But if I have done my homework, my research, I know exactly that, it's already 3 hours. What are we doing? We should be reaching in 45 minutes or something.
Exactly.
So doing the homework.
Exactly. And also, I wanted to sort of ask you, since we are summarizing, there are a couple of countries which are conflict prone, which a lot of us want to go. For example, like we talked about it, Yemen is an example where you have gone. So any sort of advice when we want to visit such countries, when we really...
No, don't go.
No, really, I really...
No, I am being honest, Sushmita. I am being honest, because you need to have a lot of backup.
Right.
Security backup.
Right.
Your government's backup.
Right.
Because I was lucky in Yemen, because Yemen at that time had an expat Indian base.
Right.
Had I been the only Indian woman who was caught in the war, my government would not have, taken me out of the country. I could go on the evacuation plane because there were other Indians there.
Right.
So if you think there's a country where people are telling you not to go, do not go.
Okay.
Unless you're from UN, unless you have a security backup,
unless
you have a backup plan.
Unless you're from...
You have a backup plan to go out, get out from there. Because look, it's easy to get in, but it's not easy to get out most of the time.
Right.
You need to have a backup plan to get out. So yes, I'm sorry to be the party spoiler, but do not go.
No, this is an important
If it says
thing.
don't go, then
this is
do
an
not
important thing, because that's what I also sort of think, because we see this lot of YouTube videos, YouTubers, whites and all, who have not all, there are very one or two sort of people. I think there's one woman and one man who have been to all the countries of the world, and Yemen and a couple of other conflict countries are also part of it. So people have this thing, okay, if they have gone, I also want to go. But the
No,
reality of the
no,
situation
no.
needs to know, why. I mean, what are you getting in? Hi, Anupama. So
What are you getting it
yeah,
for?
what are you getting in for? I mean, is it worth?
And most importantly, how will you get out of it?
Exactly, exactly. So I wanted from
You
you
know,
to sort of summarize that point. Why, what is it that you're getting into, and what is it you get out of it?
if you have a tried and tested exit plan, that yes, I can get out from there, and it is a guaranteed tried and tested exit plan, you can think about it.
Right.
But again, just remember, you have a mom at home, you have a boyfriend or a husband or a child at home, you have a dad at home. Come on, don't do this to them. I have done it and I will not recommend it
Right.
unless you're going there for work. And as I said, you have a security backup, because I was recently working in South Sudan, and it is not a safe area.
Which sorry, I missed
So
sort of because your voice was.
South Sudan,
Yeah, yeah.
South
So South
Sudan.
Sudan is one place. My
So,
brother has also worked, so he also has interesting safety experiences there.
so
So
I would
it's
not recommend people to go,
right, exactly.
because you cannot come out. Maybe you can go in, but you cannot
Come
come
out,
out.
yeah, unless you have a solid
Okay.
backup plan.
Absolutely. And I will again come back, Sushmita, to summing up, since we're summing up, that tips. One we talked about was off time, like off peak time
Right, right,
travel, which is absolutely fantastic. We have to have the safety measures in place. We have to keep our documents documented, let's put it like this, in hard copy and soft copy.
right,
And we need to have a certain budget in mind,
right.
We cannot go there and run out of money.
Exactly.
Money is at the end of the day around which the world goes
Yeah, of
circle.
course, of
So
course.
we cannot run out of money, and it is not our territory.
Right.
And this is something we need to understand. It's not our territory.
Exactly.
So I would say that keep a budget in mind. Again, for tips for first time or solo travelers,
And also keep
because
enough cash in handy, because you don't know if the electronic money is going to work or not.
absolutely, yes, absolutely. And and then at the end of the day, use as much local help as possible, local services as possible.
Right.
It's because one, it is cheap. Second, it is better. And third, you are actually forming a security net around you.
Right.
So if I'm staying in a homestay, I have a backup
Right.
that this person knows me.
Right.
I'm creating points of contact, which work as security nets.
Right.
And coming back to the point of issues of being racially discriminated as non-white globe trotters, we have to keep our respect ourselves.
Right.
I have seen many, many people who absolutely act as complete actors when they go abroad.
I absolutely agree. Since I have done travel with women's group only twice, and it was because that was the the safest and the easiest and the sort of the cheapest thing to for me to take for that country. And while one experience was good, recently the one experience where we had this whole group of women with us, and because they thought they had the safety of the group, they were. I was really ashamed. I was really ashamed, and all these years that I've been traveling, and I used, whenever we travel, I used to get this reaction, and also this feedback from homestay owners, and that, oh, you're so good, you've left our
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
so good.
Oh, the other Indian
The
tourists,
Indians
yeah,
are
yeah.
so bad, and I used to wonder, who are these Indians who travel bad? I mean, why? And when I traveled with this group, I was shocked. I was ashamed. I was ashamed at the way they behaved. No wonder. I mean, what a bad, the face they cut to the outside. I was ashamed. I didn't go to a lot of, day excursion with this group. I told the tour leader, no, I can manage on my own. You give me the ticket that is already paid for. You give me the ticket, museum tickets. I will go on my own. I won't go with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Straight faced, I told, and consciously I didn't go with them as much as I could on this group tour, on the day excursions, because I was ashamed, and that happened on the first day itself. I was like, if this is the scheme of things that's going to be there for the next 15 days, oh my goodness. I mean, you're completely right.
As I said, we can also be the good ambassadors and say, oh no, this kind of people also exist,
Right.
So breaking stereotypes, yes, we have a certain stereotypes that we cannot break.
Right.
We can answer questions. We can, tell them, okay, this also exists, that also exists. Because at the end of the day, we are representing our country. We are representing our culture.
Right.
So 50% of the responsibility lies in our hands.
Right.
And coming back to the question by style prism, it also brings us to another stereotypical question. Did your family allow you to travel? Because our family really do not want us to travel solo.
This question by Anupriya, who's actually my very good friend, and we have traveled together to Jordan, three of us, me, Kriti, and Anupriya, and she's some person who actually travels a lot by herself, on work travel and also leisure travel. So it's kind of a question she also faces. So that's why she might have asked it. So the straight away answer is be very stubborn. Be very stubborn with your families and say, I'm going. I mean, be headstrong. That's the first thing. And and then seriously, once you start traveling and they see, you're coming back safe and sound and you're doing it yourself, they will sort of stop asking you questions with every travel within India. And I will tell you my personal story. It's not for us, in fact, international travel, to give context to the other listeners here. So when I was in my master's, we have all these field trips and all, and though I did my engineering and everything, my engineering and all is, you stay at one place and do the course. When I was in master's, the first field trip, my parents were so scared. What will you do? What is everything? And they had to let me go because it's field trip, it's for college, they can't stop me. But when I came back safe and sound, my mother reacted, oh, you can take care of yourself. I was just being, nervous, apprehensive for no reason at all. So that's my answer to all the ladies, convince your families and also be a bit headstrong. And once you start taking that first trip, everything will go in place.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember when I started traveling alone within India first and then India, I would just do it, buy the ticket, and then say, I'm leaving tomorrow. I did not give them much choice. But then, as I said, my parents came from travel industry, and I was always brought up to travel alone.
Right.
I left my home very early, so they did not pose a lot of problem. But my mother especially was super cool. She was just say, okay, are you sure you know what you're doing? And I'm like, yes. She would tell me, where are you going, where are you going? And that's it, she would let me be. But my absolutely nervous. And I still remember that the day before I traveled, he cannot sleep. He would not sleep. And he would just go in circles and he would say, did you take your passport? Are you sure you have a visa? Did you take a ticket?
So my mom still, if like I'm in some remote place and I'm in a hotel on work, she said, you check the hotel door, you check the mirror. I said, Mom, it's like, come on. So no, you must check there might be some cameras in the, so that's humorous part of it. But that's how our parents will always be. But once you start on it.
So I agree with you. So being stubborn, yes. No, I can be also very stubborn. I'm like a stubborn bull. My father is a stubborn bull, I'm another stubborn bull. So we would be standing like this, yes. And at the end of the day, the taxi would come and I would go.
Right.
We also need to know that we are financially independent women.
Right.
We are financially independent, young people, let's say.
Right.
We are the financially independent youth. We have studied a lot. We have studied abroad. We have studied, we are educated. We know, we are aware.
Yeah.
And we need to understand and have this belief in ourselves.
Right. And the empowerment, empowerment comes from within, and nobody will come and empower you. You have to take the stand for yourself, which goes in any aspect of our lives. But if you want to travel, that's the first thing. You have to empower and take the first step for yourself. Nobody is going to come and tell you. We have each our own stories. Svetlana, you have your own story. I have my own story. But that's the way we did it. Somebody who is wanting to go has to figure out their own way to do it.
Absolutely. And ask yourself, am I 100% convinced about it?
Yes.
When you're 100% convinced about it, you will do it.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Absolutely.
If you have if you have come to the point of wanting to do it, that means there is a slight chance that you can actually do it.
Right.
If I was like somebody who had to marry at 17, produce 5 babies by 25, I would not actually consider doing that. because I know that I have a boundary.
Right, right.
But if I've come to a point that I am considering doing it, that means I know I have scope of doing it.
Right, exactly, exactly.
So, you have to believe in that scope that you see that you can do it. So do it. But please save money, be sensible,
Right.
plan.
Right.
And even if you don't plan, even if you go on an impromptu trip, make sure you keep a stock of how much money you have, what is your daily expense. So if my daily expense is, for example, $50 a day, and I, somehow spend $100, I need to keep a check of my budget.
Right, right.
You do not want to run out of money in a foreign country.
Exactly. That's my point too. Yeah. So I think we have covered most of the points. Maybe some to end with some humorous one incident, most humorous that you've come across. You go first, then I'll go first. Then we'll wrap it up after this session.
I think it's also, as I said, a kind of language problem.
Right.
I don't know if I told you this before, but in Egypt, they have a way of saying, "What is my name?" So what they are asking you,
the Arabic, they have certain, things.
It has because the direct translation.
I know.
So the direct translation from Arabic is, "What is my name?" But actually, they're asking you for your name. So me and Tariq, we went somewhere, and there was this very sleazy guy who tried to chat me up. Okay, so he said, and he's like, "What is your name? Hin, what is your name?" I said, "I don't know your name." And I don't know. And then I thought maybe he's asking me to guess his name. So I said, "Ahmed, Abdullah, Muhammad Ali." He thought I was totally mental, who did not know my name, or my name was Abdullah or Ahmed. So then he kind of ran away. So it was super funny. It was super funny. A situation which was sleazy, but it was so funny.
Yeah, I completely get you, because I faced it in Jordan, which also, they are Arabic country.
So, I will ask you in the Arabic version. Susmita, what is my experience?
So, this happened in Petra, and we were almost rolling in laughter, literally rolling in laughter. So, we went up till, we took actually the monastery, we went up with the donkeys, because before that we had a 4-hour walk till that place, the Khazne, Al-Khazne. We have walked for 4 hours. So we didn't have that thing to walk up all the way up till that monastery. So we took the donkey ride. It happened and everything. So while coming back, and all these Bedouin young chaps, they who manage the donkeys and all. Oh yes, Anupriya, I'm telling you about that thing only. Anupriya said we said. So yeah, so to continue. So they said, so they knew us. So while we were coming down, they were chatting us up. So one of the things that the guy said, you see those caves? You see those caves? We make meat. Come in the evening. Enjoy us for dinner. And we were laughing. We were that's the only thing left for us. That's the only thing left for us in the night, to enjoy them for dinner. And the more we laughed, the more they thought that we are being with them. We have managed to flirt with this girl. The more we were laughing, the more they were saying.
Yeah. Some things are super funny. I remember this guy actually ran away from because he thought
I know. I can completely understand, because what they meant was, come enjoy dinner with us.
I think that kind of wraps up with a lot of laughs for today.
Yes. I hope. I love fun session, and our common Arabic incidents was really good.
Incidences
was really good, and I hope the listeners and the viewers who joined in also enjoyed it. So and also I would like to say, before we wrap up, we might go in for a podcast session. So all the viewers if you want to have any questions, maybe you can sort of send in your questions. We will try to, because
exactly.
Here it's a limited timeline. So we'll try to sort of answer your questions in that podcast session. Yes?
Exactly. And so send us your questions. And this today's theme was basically breaking the stereotypes, which included, how do we travel as non-white solo travelers? What are the things we can do to avoid harassment? And to begin with, how do we convince our family? How do we save enough money to travel? What are the safety safety, standards that we should keep in mind,
Right.
safety notions that we should bear in mind. Also, please remember to tune into our podcast when we do that. Thank you, Gauri.
Thank,
Thank you so much. That's
thank you.
Kanta Poha is my sister, little
Oh,
sister.
hi, Gauri. Hi. It's nice to connect here.
And if you want to join us on our podcast
Yes.
and we can have a fun chat,
Right.
please do
Yes.
and write to us.
Yes.
You can leave a message
Yeah.
on the Instagram or
Yeah.
you can connect with
You
us
DM us on Instagram
on
and on
Facebook.
either of our accounts. We'll sort of get back to you on the podcast when it happens.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Bye,
It's lovely
Svetlana.
chatting
Have
with
a
you as
nice,
usual,
nice, nice
partner.
week. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for
Thank you, everybody,
being
for
here.
joining.
Bye.
Bye.